traffic jams to and from work or school every day, more lines, more crowded schools, clinics, as well as limited services and land? Are there more people? Is this straining our life in American Samoa? And what can I do to manage change now? American Samoa today faces the inevitable challenge of dealing with impacts caused by an increasing population. Left unchecked, population pressures will impact every man, woman, and child in American Samoa, as well as burden future generations. The impact of population pressures on our quality of life and the vulnerability of American Samoa to external factors is reaching a breaking point. The issue of population pressures is everyone's problem. Too many people on too little land is at the core of what American Samoa is facing with the rapid growth of its population. As the population grows without the means to expand the landmass to accommodate this growth, the pressures on natural, social, and economic resources are unavoidable. This is not a what-if scenario, but a when. We are already seeing evidence of traffic congestion, strained medical and educational services, environmental pollution, and waste management issues. Today we have a population of 69,000. In only 5 years, there will be 7,000 more people, 2,000 more cars, and 1,500 more houses. There is no denying that population pressures impact quality of life. These pressures will make it very difficult for the government to provide social services, such as hospital care or education. Population dynamics studies how the population in a community changes over time. The three main components for this change are births, deaths, and migration. Population growth is determined by the number of births minus deaths plus or minus net migration. Migration is the movement of the population in and out of the territory. In the 100 years between 1900 and 2000, the population in American Samoa grew from under 10,000 to 57,291. The estimated population as of July 2008 is 69,000. The end of the naval administration in the period between 1950 through 1960 caused out-migration to the mainland, with many of the residents joining the armed forces. In the late 1950s, the establishment of the canneries triggered an influx of neighboring islanders to the territory, especially between 1970 through 1990. Lenient immigration policies and enforcement problems contribute as well. In 1950, over 80% of the population in American Samoa was born here, with under 20% of the population born elsewhere. As of 1980, this figure dropped to 59%, with those born elsewhere rising to 41%. Over 90% of the population is ethnically Samoan. Between 1970 and 2000, the number of mothers born in American Samoa steadily declined. By 2000, the incidence of both of a child's parents being born in American Samoa had dropped to under 25%. To show population growth, an illustration of change in Tutuila best demonstrates this. The red dots represent the number of households in 1970. Each dot represents 6 people per household. Here are the number of households in 2000. This is the projection for 2050. If present trends continue unchecked, obviously there will be too many people on too little land. Another composition factor is a population's age. This is called population momentum, and in American Samoa, it is a major contributing factor for the increase in the little red dots. Population momentum is the percentage of the overall population that represents childbearing potential for the territory's future population growth. The higher the percentage of people age 18 and under, the larger the population growth will be, because there is such a large percentage of the population capable of having children as they grow up. Incredibly, 40% of American Samoa's current population is under the age of 15. Beyond growth and density, population dynamics encompasses how a population shifts location, such as the case with the Tualauta district. In 1960, Tualauta represented only 10% of the population. In 2000, it represented 40% of the population, an increase of 700% in 40 years. Population pressures are felt most in Tutuila, with 96% of the population, and a limited land base suited for human settlement. The fact is, population pressures impact quality of life and the future of every resident of American Samoa. Rapid growth makes it more difficult for the government to provide education, health, housing, and employment opportunities for all who need them. We import almost all of our goods and services: food, building materials, gasoline, oil to make electricity, medical supplies, and sources of funds from overseas. We are vulnerable to economic forces beyond our borders over which we have no control. A large population cannot be supported by locally produced resources. We far exceed the carrying capacity of this small island. What if fuel prices continue to skyrocket and we cannot afford to buy it? Or the tanker bringing in goods simply does not come? We could not pay the current workforce or buy imports with locally derived funds. Our economy is supported by grants from the U.S. and the tuna canneries, which are threatening to go elsewhere. There could be massive social disruption in outmigration. This problem is exacerbated by our small island size and remote location. What can you do? We all need to play a role in managing change and addressing population growth. Everyone needs to act now as a people. We need to commit to efforts to reduce and cope with the pressure problems we are currently facing and will continue to face in the future. Population pressure affects all of us, and as such, it is up to each and every one of us to be a part of the solution. We cannot succeed without each other, and we need your help to address this important issue. The time for action is now. Population growth will, if left unchecked, negatively impact every man, woman, and child in American Samoa. But it doesn't have to be this way if we start today, working together with a shared vision for managing change.